This is Kyle Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. Drop my name. Ooh, I'm Kyle. You're gonna name drop. Can I do that for dropping my own name?
Yeah, I mean, Doug can get away with it.
He's like, I'm Doug Chris. I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. I'm Kyle Madson.
Yeah,
don't drop my name ever.
I don't think we can get away with it.
Doug Christie has guys.
If you want to go to prison, you can do that.
Drop my name.
Like, who the heck? You making up people? The Kings are back in action tonight. They face the Clippers at home.
Oh, boy!
We have that game on Sports 1140. A late start time tonight. 7:30 start time, which means pregame right here on KHTK starts at 7.
We should have had Grant on today because Grant's not calling the game tonight, and I always wonder how weird that is for him.
Yeah, does he still go?
He usually does, but he gets to whether he's there or at home. I don't know what he's going to do.
Let me get this read in. Hey, it's 8:02. Peak Financial wants to talk retirement. Dial pound 250 and say the word money.
Yeah.
Wanted to make sure our sponsor didn't
that's okay. I don't know what he's doing. It's weird.
I'm not letting you go to work today.
Wait, what? Everybody, listen up.
Welcome to The Drive.
Morning.
You're going to talk.
Get on the phone at 339-1140.
Pretty awesome, huh?
Jump in on our text line at 441140.
Everyone is talking about it. You must know that.
The Drive starts now.
Welcome back to The Drive. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Where's my audio? Remember when I had, do I still have, since they changed everything, do I still have the best of audio? Remember the audio where I had just all the different drops and stuff in there?
Are you looking for, the sound bites?
Yeah, not like the drops that you send me. But, I used to have stuff where, I don't know, I'd have Charles Barkley saying something. I'd have...
I don't know.
Okay, because I'm looking for Vince Scully. I had a lot of Vince Scully stuff in here. Today, in 1927, Vince Scully was born. And I'm a Giants fan. I'm a lifetime Giants fan. And I make it a point to troll Dodger fan whenever I possibly can, mainly because they're better than my team right now. But I would just there's never going to be a time where I don't love and profess love for Vince Scully. One of the great play-by-play voices in any sport. You know, if there was we always do Mount Rushmores, but
he went. Can I give some Vince Scully facts right now?
Absolutely.
He was a Dodgers broadcaster for 66 years. He had been. That's bananas. There was one night I was reading a book about the 1954 Dodgers, and I'm reading that book. I have the Dodger game on in the background. And Vince Scully's calling the game, and in this book, I'm reading a passage about Vince Scully.
Yeah.
In 2015, which is bananas. Anyways, he went into the Hall of Fame. He won the Ford C. Frick Award, which is awarded to broadcasters that go into the Hall of Fame. In 1982, he went into the Hall of Fame and then broadcasted for 34 more years.
That's insane. 82.
1982.
That's ridiculous.
How old were you in 1982?
I was 6.
He won the Commissioner's Historic Achievement Award in 2014. He has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and he won the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2016.
He also knows how to shop.
A dozen eggs, a quart of milk, a loaf of bread, a can of frozen orange juice, 6 small white onions, a green pepper, garlic powder, a package of American cheese, pickles, kosher that is, bananas, cornflakes, maple syrup, toothpaste, paper towels, toilet paper, 6 bars of soap, hot dogs, quarter pound of chopped meat, steak, lamb chops, package of spaghetti, 3 apples, bologna, cottage cheese, a pound of butter, 2 ears of corn, beer, ketchup, peanut butter, soy sauce, and a half a pound of coffee.
I had no idea that I had been pronouncing bologna wrong.
That's the one thing that stood out to me more than anything. Vince Scully saying bologna. Sam Amick is ready to go. Kyle's going to grab him. Since it is Vince Scully's birthday, I did find some of my favorite Vince Scully. You know, it's summertime. It's the middle of summer. You got a baseball game going. You got to find a way to fill time. Nobody filled it like Vince Scully. He could even talk about beards.
I'm not going to do it now because there's 2 out and the base is empty, but sometime during the game, if you've been like the way I have been, looking at players with these big beards, I decided I'm going to do a little research on beards. So during the game, yeah, there's plenty of them around. We'll tell you a couple of stories as we go through it. 2 down, second inning, no score. And first pitch, fastball for a strike. First of all, they say way back to the dawn of humanity, beards evolved, number 1, because ladies like them. And number 2, it was the idea of frightening off adversaries and wild animals. There's the 1-strike pitch, swung on and missed strike 2. In fact, it was so serious, if you look it up, there's a divine mandate for beards in Leviticus and Deuteronomy.
That's Vince Scully. My favorite thing is he can be in the middle of one of these stories. It's in Leviticus and Deuteronomy, 2-1 the count, and then just go back into it.
That's the classic Vince Scully.
Love him. Joining us right now, Kyle hails from Brentwood. This gentleman hails originally from Pleasanton, California.
925 in the house.
Yeah, the one, the only, from the Athletic, Sam Amick. Hello, Samuel.
Good morning, David. Always appreciate the Pleasanton shout-outs, which inspire me to, I'm going to shout out my alma mater, Amador Valley High School, my nephew, Jackson Hilton, and the Amador Valley Dons. Their season ended last weekend in the postseason, but a fine campaign. Good work by the Purple and Gold. Thanks for the segue. Appreciate you, buddy.
Amador Valley
Rack 'em. Dons.
The Dons. D-O-N-S, Dons.
Okay, so that's Amador Valley High. Gotcha.
Amador Valley High, yes.
Okay.
We went to the playoffs in my high school baseball team. Went to the playoffs one time in my 4 years, and we were eliminated in the first round by Amador Valley.
See? Wow.
Which high school? Kyle?
Liberty High School in Brentwood.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, this was it's Freedom. I should remember. Freedom something was who beat them in the Oakley Brentwood area.
Oh, it's Freedom.
But
yeah, that's our rival.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Freedom.
Off the top of my head,
they had a guy. I know we're going to talk hoops, but geez, they had a kid, Giles Jackson, I think his name was. Man, this young dude, he's going to Washington, and I kept telling people he ran all over him in this game, and it was like, remember in the old Tecmo Bowl where like Thurman Thomas would just do whatever he wanted on the screen? Like that was what this kid was like last weekend. So good stuff.
Joe Mixon went to Freedom. Fun fact.
There you go.
He did.
Wow.
There you go.
Running back.
Yeah.
Factory.
Stephen Piscotty went to Amador Valley.
He did.
Yeah. You know who else went there?
Sam Amick.
Here's the thing. Former national vocabulary champion Ali Aderi went there.
Obviously. Everybody knows that.
Wow.
Yes.
Look at you.
Scott,
you're on the intraweb, aren't you?
No. Scott Peters played for the Arizona Cardinals.
I knew Scott well.
The guy who played Billy Cranston on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, David Yost.
Oh, the Blue Ranger.
Yeah, went there. I'm looking.
By the way, I have to also shout out, I mean, since we went so deep down the Amador Valley road,
great.
my sister is the vice principal at Amador Valley.
Oh!
I love the 925 love. This is great.
Here's what I don't understand, and I lied, Sam. Of course, I'm on the internet. I don't want to throw any as the kids say, shade at any of these other people, Craig Billmeyer, Kerry Chun, Kevin Crow, Paul Corver. But here's my thing, Sam. Notable people associated with the school, there's about 20. There's no Sam Amick. And I'm not just saying this because you're on the line with me. You're like literally top 3, if not higher, national NBA writer. You have hundreds of thousands of Twitter followers. You are on TV all the time. Again, not
is that Wikipedia?
Yeah, it's Wikipedia.
All right, I'm not participating in this interview.
Are you going to edit him in?
Yep.
Edit Sam. We're editing you in right now because it's kind of BS, man. How can Sam not be a notable person associated with that high school? It's garbage.
Hey, you're too kind. Kyle, I'm going to have to send you a little Christmas gift, man. That's a nice gesture.
Why, Kyle? It was my idea. I'm the one who brought it up.
I mean, because you're the old man who doesn't know how to do something about it. He's jumping into the actual file. You're just sitting here shouting from your porch.
Sam Amick joining us. Sam, hey, here's some advice for you. If you want to come up with a not so fun and at times really terrible conversation in Sacramento, bring up the progress on Luka Doncic. My God,
oh boy.
I did that last night, just pointing it out, and I said, what I've come to a conclusion on is that Luka might have been the right pick for the Kings, but Marvin Bagley might be an all-star. They could both be phenomenal players. Like that was what I tweeted. Sam, it's still going. It's almost like a political conversation here in Sacramento. So you should do that. You should write a whole article on that.
Well, I mean, before the Kings got off to a good start and before Marvin, did enough to look like, that in a vacuum and independent of anything else that Kings fans could be excited about him, I think I might have already shared this on your show. Like, I was already contemplating, analyzing the Doncic thing and why didn't they take him and what's the real story there. And their success kind of steered me off that path. But that subplot isn't going away. And I mean, I just pulled up his numbers to cheat, and it's like, my goodness, 19-6, giving you almost 40% from beyond the arc, while taking 6.2 a game. I mean, that's big volume and good efficiency. And then you just have the entertainment factor where he just keeps popping up on, every time the Mavericks play, I feel like there's at least one viral clip of Luka doing something. 2 games ago, I want to say it was the Hawks, I forget who it was, but that end of the buzzer pump fake where he just buries that three from the top. And then last night, what looked like a 42-footer that was just insane. So, I mean, that guy's off to a great start.
It's really, I think why it's a fun conversation, even though there's a lot of people that are very emotional about it, is also on the Marvin Bagley side. Marvin has not started like Luka. He has not had the usage that Luka's had. But you have a game last week where he goes 20-17, and really in the last couple weeks, you saw that time that night where Harry Giles filled the stat sheet in 20 minutes. When you're a Kings fan, and I know you have to pay attention to all the teams, but I don't think the book is closed on Marvin Bagley. I think it's barely even open to the beginning.
Yeah, no, I agree, 100%. And that's where it's always unfair to analyze these guys with so much scrutiny early on. It's funny, today I opened up our app at our place at The Athletic, and I was just reading stuff. So Jeff Pearlman is kind of a freelancer for us on occasion. The accomplished author has got, several best-selling sports books. And Jeff actually, I didn't realize this, but a while back he wrote an interesting piece about Jason Thompson. And so I saw that. I said, all right, man, I covered Jason for years. Want to, find out what this was about. And the whole point of the story was Jeff tried to kind of catch up with a guy who had been through it all, who had been through the hype of the draft, the overhype that comes in the early years, the over scrutiny, if you will, that we're talking about with the Doncic Bagley type situation, and kind of get like, the 30-something-year-old perspective from Jason Thompson as he looked backward at the absurdity of some of this process. And you're right. I mean, they get paid a lot of money and they could deal with it. It's not the end of the world, but it's not, the most logical process. We're not going to know, what Bagley is going to be, even what Doncic is going to be for a while. And, but we're not going to sit here quietly and not analyze in the meantime.
Sam Amick of The Athletic with us. I want to remind everybody The Athletic is an amazing deal, and I've been a subscriber, as I said, when we had Matt Barrows on Tuesday for a little over a year now, even though I missed out on the T-shirt deal. I know it's going on right now, along with other...
You want a T-shirt, Dave?
No, I'm not going to beg for a T-shirt.
I'm getting you a T-shirt.
I'm just saying,
I'm getting you a T-shirt.
But I want you to know, but I'll take the T-shirt. You can go to theathletic.com, go to the NBA, and then towards the bottom, I invite you to read all of their fine articles, but if you are a bias towards Sam Amick like I am, you can go towards the bottom and just filter out everything. It's such a clean site. You can see all of Sam's work. And Sam, I know you got to pay attention, like I said, to the entire league, not just the Kings, but the Kings do have the Clippers in town tonight on national TV. So let me ask you an LA question and not about that other dirty team. Maybe of all the surprises this season, I don't know that there's a bigger surprise than the Clippers. No Blake, no DeAndre Jordan, no Chris Paul, but they are at least right now at the top of the Western Conference. Why do you think that is?
I mean, a couple things. They have this roster that is like tailor-made for the regular season because it's very deep, and they have just enough oomph, just enough kind of impact. They don't have a star, so to speak, but Tobias Harris is just a really good player. And he's a fantastic character guy, a fantastic culture guy internally, and somebody who's really enjoying and taking pride in wearing this kind of unassuming hat of, like, you know, Clippers guy of the moment with an uncertain future. That none of that matters to him. He's kind of unfazed, and he's trying to be the best player he can be. And he's been traded a couple times, and I've read a lot of stuff about him that kind of sheds light on the fact that I think he's setting the tone in a lot of ways for the way they are operating. But it's a very deliberate strategy on the Clippers' part to have, how am I trying to say this, to have this, this period of time before free agency in 2019, to have it be as enjoyable for the fans as possible, and also as, a very positive free agency recruitment type thing, to tell other players what their culture is going to be, and competitively what they're going to be. So, I mean, they've tried to, in LA, essentially do this thing where they've got a saying internally that Doc Rivers has mentioned on different interviews before, where it's like they're all about the blacktop, and then the other side of that is not the big top, which they don't shout the Lakers out by name, but that's definitely like the way they're framing it. The Lakers are the circus and the big top, and the Clippers are the blacktop. They just play ball, and they're now in a spot where they could have 2 max salary slots this summer in free agency, and they've got great management, great ownership. They've got a lot going for them right now.
Sam Amick of The Athletic with us. You just gave the exact answer I would expect. Well thought out, detailed, and with several good points. Is it also me oversimplifying by saying the other thing is that Jerry West is maybe the greatest sports executive of all time? How much are his handprints on this?
They're on it. That's always an interesting debate, because it's like at this stage of his career, it's hard to parse out where his impact is real, and it is definitely real. I'm not trying to say it's not. But then also just the power that comes with perception and having Jerry West on your team. That's just not a bad thing. And it's definitely not a bad thing when he doesn't have to be – I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Jerry, as I now cheat again on the internet, trying to get his age, Jerry is 80 years old.
Wow.
He's 80.
Wow.
So, point is, Lawrence Frank deserves a lot of credit.
Sure.
Lawrence is a tireless 24/7 type worker. And not only that, he's extremely well liked by his coworkers. And so, not to, take a shot here, but I think it's worth, listen, in Sacramento, that's been a thing lately, where the environment in which people work matters. People want to run through a wall for Lawrence Frank in his front office. Michael Winger is their GM. Mark Hughes, formerly of the Kings, is an assistant GM. They have Trent Redden, who came from Cleveland and was part of the LeBron era. Those guys work really well together in the front office. Jerry, to give you the structure, is kind of the Steve Ballmer whisperer, and he is the conduit, between those two parties, and he matters a great deal. So it's just a really good formula, and I think Ballmer deserves a lot of credit, because think about all the names I just threw at you. None of those guys are coming on the cheap. Ballmer is cutting a lot of checks to put that type of a structure together. And then the last real quick thought is, I think Doc Rivers deserves a ton of credit, because he could have taken his ball and gone home and said, well, you're going to take away my front office title, and my ego takes a hit because of that, and I'm not okay with that. Instead, he just realized that coaching this team and only being the coach was still a pretty good gig. He did not have to give any money back, which is a huge factor. And so Doc is doing a really nice job coaching. So it's a great formula.
Sam Amick with us. I guess you mentioning their front office and the cohesion there, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, being that you wrote a fantastic article on it last week. As far as it seems like things have kind of calmed down, at least for now, here in Sacramento. Any fallout from what you wrote? Do you get the same sense that things, at least for now, are kind of chilled out here?
I don't know. We'll see. The winning. I keep saying the winning always helps,
right?
But I don't think the hard feelings have totally dissipated at all internally when it comes to kind of people's different feelings of why and what certain stories came out about Dave's job security, and we've seen this before with a lot of different teams where the internal dynamics can get tricky. And so I think the question at the time was, is this a thing where, Kings assistant GM Brandon Williams is essentially going to eventually take over for Vlade, and Vlade is not the guy at the top. And then, the franchise made it very clear that's not the case. And, and so Vlade is the guy. But it muddies the waters. And so with Dave, you got a guy who has 1 year left on his contract, and, everybody continues to say he's not in trouble at all. He's not going anywhere. But it's tricky, too. And I wrote this, like, his assistant coaches, all of them, are in the last year of their deals. Yeah. He has asked and pushed for those guys to get picked up and then, to be on the same timeline as him, and that hasn't happened. Those types of things, I think, do run the risk of creating, some, I don't know, resentment's a little strong, but, like, it's a topic. You know what I mean? So those are the things internally that I think they still are navigating through, and we'll kind of see where it goes.
Sam Amick of The Athletic with us. Interesting tonight. You've got only 3 games on the schedule, and the Kings-Clippers might be the worst one. All the teams are in fact, the Kings are the only team at 500. The rest are above. And before on TNT, you get to the Clippers and Kings, you have the Warriors and the Raptors. Sam, because betting is becoming such a big deal now, it's everywhere. I don't know the last time I saw the Warriors as 9-point dogs, and I understand they're in Toronto. I've seen things like the Warriors are almost back to being the Warriors. Steph Curry coming back this weekend. Does his absence and the struggles the Warriors have gone through, in your mind, does that underline that he really is the straw that stirs the drink there?
Yeah, he is, for sure. I mean, he had an incredible start in the beginning of the year, and remember, I mean, it's too bad that he got hurt, because he was on pace to break that 402 3-point record that he set a couple of years ago. And so we saw kind of his greatness when he was on the floor early on, and then we saw his greatness when he was off the floor, because it was not only the team not being able to function nearly at the same level as it did before, but it was the chemistry stuff and the locker room stuff. When Draymond and Kevin Durant got into it in that Clippers game, there's a lot of people who feel like, if Steph's in that game, for one, they're not going to have that argument because they are probably up by 10 or 12. For two, personality-wise, Steph was not on that trip, and you saw his value in his absence. So he's going to be in the MVP conversation if he comes back and does what he did before. In fact, my buddy Matt Moore is a writer over at Action Sports Network, hit me the other day. He's doing like a straw poll to try to get media opinions on who the MVP is right now, and I'm curious to see it, because I wouldn't be surprised if Steph, wasn't at the top of that list, if not close to it. So, I mean, he's a fantastic ball player, and you see these last couple of weeks, what he means to that team.
What's coming up for you next on The Athletic?
It's been a weird week. I'm kind of digging on a few different things that hadn't panned out. So that's the new part of the job, is I don't write as much for the sake of writing, if that makes sense. So I don't know just yet. Probably some Warriors stuff, analyzing their situation a little bit more. Going to be at that Kings game tonight and take a look at what's going on there. So we shall see.
All right. Well, if you have ideas you want to give Sam about things to write about, that's at Sam _Amick. Kyle,
it's like the Thanksgiving malaise, man. Like, and you and I talked over the holiday. I did take a couple days off.
Yes.
And I feel like the player who just got back in camp, and I put on 10 pounds, and I need to get it off and shake the rust off a little bit. But Kyle, by the way, I see you on Twitter working, man. I appreciate you.
Got your back,
That's
man.
Good.
Yeah.
Sam Amick.
Although I can't find it. Where is it?
It's
Amador Valley High School.
Yeah, if you scroll towards the bottom of, you go to Wikipedia, go to Amador Valley High, you scroll towards the bottom where it says notable people. You can get it out of the table of contents, and look at Kyle working while we were talking. Who's at the top? Oh, hey, probably because his last name starts with A, but Sam Amick, nationally renowned NBA writer for The Athletic, previously of Sports Illustrated and USA Today. Kyle, this is nice, and it's awesome that you did that. I just kind of wonder why. I mean, international lover of corduroy, you couldn't have put something in there.
I was thinking about just doing a whole ridiculous thing, but I didn't want it to get deleted.
They'll delete it. You're right. Yeah. Well, Sam, there you go.
I'm just really happy to have joined you guys today on the Kyle Madson Show.
Sam Amick of The Athletic. Go to theathletic.com. Get a subscription if you don't have it already. They have free trials and all that stuff. It is the best collection of writing you're going to find anywhere in such a clean format. Sam, appreciate you, buddy. I'll see you at the game tonight.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Take care. That's Sam Amick. That's Sam Amick, Amador Valley High, notable alum, whatever. He went there, and it's notable. Thanks to Kyle Madson and the power of the drive.
And you notice I put him at the top, too.
Well, I noticed that, but isn't it also alphabetically that's why I was stumbling, because I think he's the only A.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
I didn't know. I just grabbed it and threw it at the top.
I think I could be wrong. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll find out if that's a cold, hard fact, along with others in a Kings-centric Coors Light cold, hard facts. In this last half hour, we have that. We also have Kings Clippers tickets, one more pair to give away. The drive continues next. Sports 1140 KHTK.
Hey, it's Kyle Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. The Sacramento Kings are finally back in action tonight. They've been off for the last few days, but they wrap up their November schedule at home tonight against the Los Angeles Clippers. It's a late start time tonight, so we've got pregame starting at 7 o'clock right here on Sports 1140. Tip-off is set for 7:30. Kyle Korver has been sent from the Cavaliers to the Utah Jazz in exchange for Alec Burks and a pair of second-round picks. That's according to ESPN. Utah's gotten off to a disappointing 9-12 start, so looking for a little bit of boost from Korver. And Week 13 of the NFL season kicks off tonight with the Saints and Cowboys both putting win streaks on the line in Dallas. New Orleans has won 10 straight, Dallas 3 straight. The Saints are aiming to cement their stranglehold on the NFC South, while Dallas looks to take sole possession of first place in the NFC East. It's 8:33. Peak Financial wants to talk retirement. Dial pound 250 and say the word money. There's your top stories. Now back to the drive on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Here we go. The drive continues now.
So, did Wikipedia really delete Sam?
Yeah, they deleted Sam's entry.
Why?
It's unbelievable. I'm going to contact Wikipedia and find out what the heck. Like, do I have to drop the segment in there and be like, hey, here's my proof?
Just link a couple of his articles, his Twitter?
Yeah, I think they want like a citation that says he went to.
That's
trash, dude.
Why is
if you can get some of the people on there who are on there, Sam Amick can freaking be in there.
And again, we don't want to disparage people. But like, for example,
I'm here to disparage people.
There was somebody that was a runner-up in the spelling bee in 2005. I mean, that's a big deal. It's really a big deal.
Is it though? Is it?
Yeah, National Spelling Bee, $50,000 I think was the first prize back then. That's a big deal.
And then Wikipedia has the audacity to ask me to donate. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
Wikipedia.
Donate when you get that thing up there. The 2008 National Air Guitar Champion is on there. And I'm not saying he shouldn't. Craig Billmeyer, you all know him. But if he's a notable alum of Amador Valley High, then damn it, I'm here to say Sam Amick should be as well. All right.
I'm upset.
Yeah, okay, Drake. We've got Kings.
Tom Orloff. He's the Alameda County District Attorney. We can get the Alameda County DA in there, but we can't get Sam Amick.
It's garbage.
Trash.
Yeah, trash. There's your millennial catchphrases. And speaking of that, Coors Light, cold, hard fact time with Kyle Madson.
It's time for the Coors Light cold, hard fact of the day. Here's Kyle Madson.
King-centric version of cold, hard facts today because there wasn't a lot going on last night. I was watching the Sharks game, and they said a couple interesting things, but nothing I was super interested in.
Nothing,
So I jumped on to Basketball Reference.
Oh, did you?
And I started sifting through some King stats, and I came up with some fun King statistics.
Well, I'm glad you did, and I'm playing Celebration not only because we're happy this is your segment, but we're also happy there's finally a freaking Kings game tonight. Thank you.
7 o'clock pregame, 7:30 tip right here on Sports 1140.
Late start, by the way, although I don't really want to tell people that. I want them all to get there at 7 o'clock anyway. So
yeah, hey, you know what? Early start, 5:30
yeah,
tip-off.
5:30 tip-off.
They just told us right now. We got a
7 o'clock first pitch.
On the fat phone.
Fact number 1.
If the Kings win tonight,
yes,
it'll be their first time being over 500 after 20 games since 2014-15. That year, in Game 21, they beat Utah 101-92.
Remember that.
Unfortunately, though, They lost their next 5 and won only 18 of their final 61 games. However, if you look at that roster, it's amazing that they were 11-10.
Yeah, I agree with that. That was a little strange, and I don't really remember being that crazy hyped about that either.
Yeah, because they started 5-1 that year.
Yeah. Well, no, okay, I was hyped about it.
4-1, 5-1, but yeah, when you look at that roster, it's like, how in the world? With this roster, it's way more sustainable.
I completely agree. There's a better feeling in this town than there's been in well over a decade.
Hey, but this isn't warm, fuzzy facts. This is cold, hard facts.
Cold, hard facts.
And the cold, hard truth is that they lost their next 5 after the last time they went 11-10.
Yeah, that's not...
Got to break that trend. That's a cold and hard fact.
Fact number 2.
The Kings are dishing out 24.7 assists per game. That would tie the 20th best mark in team history, and it would be their most assists per game since 2003-2004, and it would be only the 34th time since 1951-52 season that the Kings have dished out at least 24 assists.
That's a great fact. And by the way, that 2003-2004 team wasn't that bad.
Yeah, pretty good.
A little
Decent,
bit. Just a bit. Yeah, you know what? Pass the ball. Pass the ball. Let other people find their offense, and they'll help you find yours.
Speaking of finding offense, that's going to lead us to fact number 3 today. I have a ton of facts today.
Good
7.
For you. Wow.
7 facts. Sacramento's 108.9 offensive rating, so points per 100 possessions.
Correct.
108.9 offensive rating is their best mark since 2004-2005. Their 104.9 pace is the fastest in team history since moving to Sacramento. Their previous high in Sacramento was 102 back in their inaugural season.
And what's crazy about that is the Kings have had some pretty damn good offensive teams over the years. They maybe didn't play defense.
Remember how those early 2000 teams were like, man, these teams play pretty. These teams are fast. Their pace was in the 90s.
And that just goes to show not only how fast this team is, but also how times have changed. I remember, I think it was...
And that pace is possessions per 48 minutes.
Right. And I think I remember, I think it was the 2002 team that led the league in opposition field goal percentage. They actually could play some defense, led by our dear friend and colleague, Doug Christie. But that pace right now is off the charts.
Buddy Hield leads the Kings in scoring at 18.8 points per game. The last player not named DeMarcus Cousins to average that many for a season was Rudy Gay in 2014 and 15. Hield is aiming to become the 11th player in Sacramento Kings history, 25 or under, to average more than 18 a game.
Future is bright. By the way, want to point out as well, our good friend Katie Baker, and we'll have her on probably sometime next week, wrote a wonderful article on Buddy Hield that the Ringer put out about an hour and a half ago. You're going to want to check that out.
Speaking of the future being bright, Marvin Bagley.
Marvin Bagley.
If he continues averaging 12 and 7 this season, he's averaging just under 7 boards a game, 6.7.
Yep.
If he continues averaging 12 and 7 for the season, he'd be the youngest player in Kings history to do so. DeMarcus Cousins did it at 20.
Wow. Say that again.
If Marvin Bagley averages 12 and 7 for the season, which is about what he's averaging right now.
What he's averaging right now, by the way, not starting.
He would be the youngest player in Kings history to average that many points and that many rebounds.
DeMarcus did that when he was 20.
Right.
That's a fine stat, Kyle.
Thanks, man.
It's not cold hard stats though. It's cold hard facts. Brought to you by Coors Light.
Well, it's a fact. It's a factual
It is a fact.
And then a couple of things about their three-point shooting. The Kings are shooting 38.6% from 3 this season. It's the 4th best mark in team history, and the best since the 03-04 team shot 40.1% for the season. That's incredible.
They're doing
shooting
just
a
fine.
lot fewer threes though. The Kings are on pace to shoot over 2,000 threes this year.
Yeah, and that's still,
and I think that team in 03 shot like
300.
No, it was like 1,400 or something like that. Yeah. So they're on pace to blow past that.
Those are some fine facts, Kyle.
I've got one more.
Okay.
Nemanja Bjelica. When do you want me to do the? He's shooting.
I was just doing that. He's shooting.
50.7% from 3 this season.
Jeez.
That clip would be the highest mark in franchise history, FYI. Do you know who has the previous record?
Okay. All right.
I want to say I'd give you $1, but
I'm going to need some help. Can you give me the time frame?
2003-2004 was the season that it happened in. For reference, Buddy Hield's mark of 45.1, that's what he's shooting right now, would be the 4th best season ever by a Kings three-point shooter.
Was it Peja?
It was not.
John Barry?
No.
No, he wasn't there. Kevin Martin?
Nope. We have to break. Do you want to think about it?
Yeah,
during the break?
no, go ahead.
48.2% by Anthony Peeler. In 0304.
Anthony Peeler.
And he shot a decent amount, too. I think he shot 140 or 160.
And not his best thing that he did with the Sacramento Kings. His best thing was punking Kevin Garnett in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Punked KG's
Hell yeah.
ass. It was great.
So the Kings are on pace to have 2 of their 4 best three-point shooting seasons ever by individuals.
Kyle, those were some just absolutely fantastic cold hard facts. Look at the crowd's applauding you and everything, brought to you by Coors Light. We'll take a break. When we come back, what's on tap? And boy golly, there's some things on tap tonight. We'll let you know next on Sports 1140 KHDK. Thank goodness we finally have something on tap tonight worth talking about. What's on tap? Brought to you by
Coffee creamer.
Some people like their coffee black, and that's fine. My dad does. I personally don't. I think it's a little too bitter.
Sure.
I like to feel the undertones of the coffee.
Yeah.
So what I use is my wife and I have a big like half-gallon jug we get.
Yeah.
I won't say the brand, but the one you all probably use. We alter. We go from like hazelnut is our go-to, French vanilla.
I'm partial to the like Italian sweet creams.
That's the one we actually have right now in our fridge.
Very good.
As a matter of fact.
I bought. Can I tell you why this is on my mind? Because I bought one of the fancy ones.
Yeah.
It's called like Tahitian vanilla.
Yeah, you don't.
Okay, but hang on. It is so good.
Really?
It's like the consistency almost of a milkshake. It's like super thick. Well, not only is it delightful, but Tom Maley of our sister station, Cans, Pat and Tom Show. I saw him yesterday put coffee creamer in his mug and then put coffee on top of it.
Exactly what I do.
That's the move, dude.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do.
I have never even thought to do that.
Taught my wife to do that years ago.
It is unbelievable.
You put the creamer in
My
first.
life has been revolutionized.
And you put it in the coffee. It's already all pretty much mixed together.
For you. Unreal, dude.
The creamer's
it disperses better because it doesn't all sit right there.
Yep.
Oh, man.
I have a Keurig at home, and I bring a cup of coffee every morning in a travel
You have
mug.
a single-serve coffee maker.
Yeah, right, yeah. And I put the creamer in first, and then I start the Keurig and the single-serve coffee maker, and hey now. How about that? So, coffee creamer. Get yours today.
Hey, the Keurig.
Kings, Clippers, 7 p.m. tonight.
6:30 p.m. tonight.
Yes. It's a national TV game. It's a late start. But, listen, hey, in all seriousness, it's a 7:30 start. The rain is already starting to come down. I got all this National Weather Service stuff on my timeline here. Probably going to be, this storm's supposed to pack a little bit of a punch, so traffic is going to be bad. It's going to be wet. It's a national TV game. So I would just say to my fellow Kings family, if you can, please try to plan to be there early. You don't want to have all that gridlock and get in there late and miss the game, number one. Number two, you don't want to be in line when the game starts, but most importantly, it's a TNT game. This is our one real national television game this year of real, TNT, ESPN style national TV, not the NBA TV, which I don't count. It's always good to show people across the country. Some of you old heads like me will remember at the old Arco Arena when we get the NBC games and they do the countdown on the screen inside the arena, and Scott Moak would do the countdown as well, counting down when NBC would switch from the studio to whoever the announcer was, Marv Albert or whoever, saying, and we're live from Arco Arena in Sacramento, and they'd show the camera would shoot right into the arena from the fisheye angle, and you'd have everybody waving towels and going nuts. And it's a little trick that they do, but people watching around the country would see the crowd for the first time that evening, go, my God, it's bonkers there. And it was bonkers there. I'd like to see that tonight. Kyle?
Totally.
Give me a look like what? Also, it's great sports night. Hopefully you have a second screen that you can utilize Cowboys hosting the New Orleans Saints. I say it every Thursday, and there's a lot of implications here. You got Amari Cooper, you have Dak Prescott, you have obviously Ezekiel Elliott, Mark Ingram, Michael Thomas, Drew Brees, and Alvin Kamara. That's a lot of fantasy players. Please set your fantasy lineup. A lot of you, I know a lot of people, this is their final week of the regular season in fantasy before you move on to the playoffs. You do not want to make a mistake. Kyle, you like Steph Curry.
I do. I think I was just reading the thing that you're about to bring up.
Oh, we'll read it right now. It's hard to not like this. A little girl named Riley, not his daughter, a different little girl, Riley Morrison. Riley sent a handwritten letter to Steph Curry. I won't read the whole thing, but I'll read most of it here. Dear Stephen Curry, my name is Riley, just like your daughter, smiley face. I'm 9 years old, from Napa, California. I'm a big fan of yours. I enjoy going to Warriors games with my dad. I asked my dad to buy me the new Curry 5s because I'm starting a new basketball season. My dad and I visited the Under Armour website and were disappointed to see there were no Curry 5s for sale under the girls section. However, they did have them for sale under the boys section, even to customization. I know you support girl athletes because you have 2 daughters and you host an all-girls basketball camp. I hope you can work with Under Armour to change this because girls want to rock the Curry 5s too. Sincerely, Riley Morrison. Well, Steph Curry got back to Riley, also with a handwritten letter. Hey, Riley. I appreciate your concern and have spent the last 2 days talking to Under Armour about how we can fix the issue. Unfortunately, we've labeled smaller sizes as boys on the website. We're correcting this now. I want to make sure you can wear my kicks proudly, so I'm going to send you a pair of Curry 5.5s now, and you'll be one of the first kids to get the Curry 6. Lastly, we have something special in the works for International Women's Day on March 8th, and I want you to celebrate with me. More to come on that, but plan to be in Oakland that night. All the best, hashtag ruin the game, Stefan. And you know, regardless
Chills,
of your
affiliation,
just that's whether you got kids or not, that's just nice. I like
hang on,
that.
I need to launch a grenade into this whole thing.
And and I want to. I appreciate Steph's agent for writing that letter.
Although, hey, if you told me to pick Steph Curry's handwriting out of a list of, this is what it would look like.
I love how he threw the hashtag in there.
Hey,
too.
here's what I thought. Here's what would have been super funny. Plan to be more on that, more to come on that, but plan to be in Oakland that night. All the best. Hashtag Steph better. He's just writing. He's like, man, I am so awesome.
Do you think she might also get a letter from one of KD's burner accounts?
It's like, you don't get the KD 12s.
Kyle, I've said this before. My parents still have right now. They still have right now at their house a postcard I got from Will Clark when I was 10 years old, 11 years old. It is still to this day one of my prized possessions.
That's cool.
I hate saying this. It pains me. Steph Curry's better than Will Clark in his sport. For this girl, or boy, whoever it was, maybe it was a girl, to get that and have that handwritten letter, not typed, handwritten.
Yeah, it's cool.
Good on Steph Curry. Ugh, I hate it. Good on Steph Curry. He's a good kid. Clippers, Kings, that was tough for me. I had to do it, though. Couldn't ethically not talk about that story.
I respect that. That's what I respect about you, is that you can get through your and all that, but still recognize a cool thing that a player did.
Can I tell
Even though you are a bandwagon hater.
I can tell you, if Kobe did that, I wouldn't have read the letter.
Oh, for sure.
Just so you know. Rick Fox, Robert Horry, sorry.
Kobe Bryant writing a thing about International Women's Day would ring a little hollow for me.
How about you call right now at 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Get yourself a pair of tickets.
What number is
Steph again?
3.
Third caller at 339-1140 gets you a pair of tickets to go see the Clippers and the Sacramento Kings tonight on national television. Coverage right here on Sports 1140 KHTK. Kyle starts the music.
Hey, you told me when I started this job.
Gave me the wrap-up song.
Start the song with like a minute left in the show. So that's what I do.
A lot of people commenting on Cold Stone Sweet Cream for the win as a coffee creamer. From the 916, been going unsweetened for a while on my coffee. That's the move. Cuts out so much sugar out of my diet. Just milk or half and half. I got to have sweet in there. From the 949, so funny, my friend yelled at me for putting the creamer in after the coffee. Creamer first so you don't have to stir. That's right. And I feel like because if you put it in first and then if you have a single serve maker, it will slowly heat the creamer at the same time. For Eunice, spelled apparently Y-O-U-N-I-S. Kyle Madson, I'm Carmichael Dave. Jim Rome is next. Go Kings, go Kings, go Kings. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 a.m. right here in Sports 1140 KHTK. Bye now.
Trucky Ducky Quack. 1140 KHTK.